This is Dave with XMD-NW.com. I'm here at Warped Tour, and we've got with us Davey of Vanna.
What's up?
How's this Warped Tour going, man?
It is almost over.
Hearing a lot of people talk pretty highly about your guys' band being pretty sick on stage.
Thank you, man. Yeah, we sadly we're at the second to last date, and this tour, looking back on it, I guess now over the entire course of the tour, has been pretty overwhelming for us. It's been pretty cool. We don't really consider ourselves a very large band, so to be able to be on such a cool stage like Monster Stage, and to be able to have kids, fill that area every single day is it's cool, man. Every day we walk around that corner and there's a bunch of kids there, so it's been really awesome. And it's cool that you've heard about us and a little bit of hype. It's always good for us.
So, being on a tour like this, you got so many different styles of music.
Yeah.
What are some of the bands that have been standing out to you?
There's been a lot of cool bands on this tour. I tend to gravitate away from heavier music just because we're around it so much and I play in a band like that. But of course, I play in a band like that because I love it, So there's a bunch of heavier bands, like obviously Every Time I Die, which I love watching every day. Old Wounds is an incredible band. I'm sure you've heard a lot about them today over on Full Sail Stage. Capsize, who are really good friends of ours, they've actually got bumped up to Monster Stage now. We'll be touring with them in the fall time. So there's been a lot of really cool heavy bands that are younger bands that are on the rise that are actually killing it. And then, of course, you got your, Good Charlottes were out for a while, and your, Sum 41 and Yellow Card, which are all great bands, great people. We got the chance to kind of meet them and mingle with them and hang out with them a little bit. So it's really refreshing when you have all these older bands on the tour and they're actually really cool people to hang out with too. It makes you feel good about being a 13-year-old listening to all their music.
So do you find it hard with so many stages, to get to see different?
For me, this is our 4th year doing Warped Tour. This is the least amount of stages Warped Tour has had since we started doing it. So for me, it's a little less overwhelming now with the amount of stages that are here. So you can kind of pop around from stage to stage, and some days you set up right next to you, like, oh cool, I haven't really watched a lot of main stage today. Maybe I'll hang over here and watch main stage today. So a lot of good main stage acts, killing it this year. Less Than Jake's on main stage, which is cool to watch them. Still on main stage, still doing really well. Falling in Reverse and Sleeping with Sirens, they have huge crowds every day. Issues is killing it. So overall, this tour has been a really cool vibe. Everyone's hanging out. Everyone's participating in the Warped Tour, and really, I've gotten to know a lot of bands I didn't previously know before. So
now I've seen you guys on your club tours and stuff. Yeah. Which do you prefer, the big festivals or clubs?
I'm split down the middle, half and half. I love the intimacy of club tours, and if you've ever seen Vanna play, we love small venues. And it doesn't matter how many years pass by. We love playing small, rundown venues that are just filled with kids that are just having a good time. And then, on the flip side of it, my family loves sharing photos of me playing, Warped Tour and, giant crowd areas and the amphitheaters and whatever. Both are cool to me, man. I like doing those big amphitheater ones and bigger tours with bigger crowds because, we've been doing it for so long. I feel like, to a certain extent, I've worked hard to get to where, we are. This band's worked really hard to get here. And then we go and do a small club tour. And I'm like, and this is why I love it so much. So I'm kind of on the fence about both. I love it all. I just like playing in general.
So I know you heard earlier when I was asking about the cell phones and recordings.
Sure.
And how Corey Taylor of Slipknot, Marilyn Manson. I mean, last night he decided to throw blue powder all over a photographer here.
Well,
and over fans that had their cell phones. I mean,
yeah.
Where do you stand on that?
I mean, I never judge anyone for the decisions that they make. I don't know if it's a Slipknot and Manson thing is a management and label thing, hey, no photos, no nothing. I don't ever judge anybody because here's the deal. I'm not Marilyn Manson. I'm not on that guy's level, so I can't even begin to judge what he does. I could disagree or agree with it, but I don't have a right to judge.
It's not so much judging them. It's about people holding phones up and not really getting full experience of the band.
I toe the line of being old and young at the same time. I feel like I'm halfway between, both. And the punk rock old guy side of me gets mad when kids take their cell phones out and I want to kick them out of their hands, and I've done that before. And then the reasonable side of me who understands kids and teenagers now, are a lot of those kids This is something you got to understand. All those kids, they film and they're taking pictures so that later they can go back and look at that. Because a lot of these kids, they listen to this music and they come to these shows because this is all they have in their life. So a lot of times I have to put myself in the place of this kid may be videotaping this part on his phone or taking a picture of it because his life might suck. And music might be the only thing that he enjoys from time after time. So for me, I'll look out as long as kids are engaged, and if they have their cell phones out, that's okay. But if they get knocked over and broken, that's your own fault. That's your own risk that you run of having them out. So it's like, film a part that you feel like you need. Take a picture of a band to remember it, to look back on it, so it brings back all those memories of how good of a night you had. But then put your phone away and actually have a good night. So I'm on the fence. I'm right between both of them. You know what I mean?
So that means you come up like I have. So you've seen the vinyls, the cassettes, the CDs,
sure,
to the internet download and piracy, and now we've got the non-downloadables making a big comeback, especially in the metal,
sure,
the heavier metal world. Where do you see our industry going?
The fact of streaming and Apple Music and Google Play and Spotify, I use all of them. I love them. I think they're great. There's still a certain amount of, I listen to a bunch of younger bands sit here and say CD sales don't matter anymore. That's true in 5 years. CD sales won't matter anymore. But the industry has not caught up yet. So, I actually put a video out on our YouTube page and have kind of gotten the word out there that first week record sales still matter for bands. The industry has not caught up to the technology yet. We still judge bands based on how many records they can sell first week, how many records they can continuously sell. So, though I love streaming, I think it's great. I think it's the way of the future until the industry figures out a way. And I know it's slowly coming, for that to actually count for a band's, brag sheet, so bands can actually get tours and get paid what they need to get paid and do their thing. CDs sales are still a must, and it's funny that we live in a day and age where CDs are obsolete. Our new record that just came out on this tour, we did our best first week we've ever done physically in the history of this entire band. It's because we pushed it to tell kids, you can get mad at people, and I think a lot of it is people getting mad, being like, kids don't understand anything, and they just get upset about it. And I think a lot of times you have to educate people. If they don't know something, you just got to tell them about it. So we made a little video with a bunch of our friends just letting them know how important first week sales are until the CD goes away. And trust me, when the CD goes away, I'll be the first band not to release a CD and just release digital and artwork and a bunch of other stuff. But until that time, CDs are important. So as long as you buy a physical copy of something, some way, shape, or form, until those are out of it, and then you're doing something right. But until that time, who knows? The state of our industry it's exciting, it's scary, it's weird, it's changing a lot with the digital age, and I back it. Trust me, like I said, I'll be the first person to toss my CDs away and you just use digital stuff. But until that time comes, I think that if you love a band and they're releasing a CD and they're selling a CD and a vinyl on the internet or at their shows, buy it from them, because they're still needing to sell it.
Right on. Well, thank you for your time, man. And once again, like I said, he's from Vanna, and you definitely want to check him out. If you haven't, you're missing the fuck out. Thanks again for your time, man.
Thank you, I appreciate it.